Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, November 15th. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Denise Douglas. Glad you could be with us this evening. Minimum wage rose to $10.75 this year in Prince George's and will jump to $11.50 an hour in 2017. Provider services for people with disabilities have been asking for an increase in funding since the phased-in law took effect in 2014 to adequately compensate their workers. But the county council came up with legislation to create a minimum wage waiver, a move that has outraged developmental disability providers and the people they assist. Today they packed the chamber to voice their concern about this issue.
Why does the council feel that my job has less value than a sandwich maker at a deli? What about my job that has less value? Do you have any idea what I do every day? What did I do to deserve this?
It could be challenged, but more importantly than that, it sets a precedent. This is the only group that is being singled out. And as from the research that we've been able to find out, there are other jurisdictions across the United States that are passing minimum wage bills, and they are not saying, but those who take care of the most vulnerable of our citizens don't have to meet it. That to us is discriminatory.
Despite concerns presented by those in attendance, CB 96 passed the council 7-2 this morning. This is the council's last session before the winter break.
And anti-Trump protests involving students continue across our region. This was the scene at High Point High School in Beltsville, where students walked out at around 1:30 this afternoon. A line of protesters blocked Powder Mill Road, bringing traffic to a halt. Today's action comes a day after students from 4 Montgomery County schools walked out in protest of a Trump presidency.
And I think that that everyone has a right to a peaceful protest. I think if you disagree with the results, you have a right to protest. You have a right to voice your opinion. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think students are scared. I think the students in most of the counties and the school systems that I've seen obviously are affected by the outcome of the election.
I think the students had a right to do what they did. Now, if they walked off of the property, then they will have to suffer the consequences, but that goes suffering consequences with actions of speaking against injustice. That's part of what you understand you're doing when you are protesting.
And students also walked in D.C., many gathering outside Trump's new hotel enchanted, "Not Our President."
Byron, we've also learned that incidents of racial and religious hate have increased in the state since Donald Trump was elected president. That, according to the Maryland Attorney General, Brian Frosh. Frosh is encouraging victims to come forward and report any problems. Over the weekend, a memorial wall at a Silver Spring church was vandalized with the words "Whites Only" and "Trump Nation." In Howard County, a bathroom wall at Murray Hill Middle School was sprayed with graffiti. Officials would only describe the message as racially and religiously charged.
And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Denise Douglas.